Hey, Will Ripley here with jamplay.com. So let's get into a track using some open string power chords. I'm also going to throw in a full-fledged power chord on the 2nd fret. Now, this is a pretty cool song. It has a nice classic kind of vibe, like really upbeat, kind of like, you know, it's kind of tough. Power chords are all over this. It's going to sound really, really great. Now, the line that you're going to play sounds like this. So here it is just soloed. Right, and then part B sounds something like this. And then back to the first one. Let's pull up a tab, let's get into it. In a previous video, we've gone over all of the fundamentals of power chords. So this guy has your E power chord, your A power chord, and your D power chord all over it. You know, a really common thing with power chords is to mix in single notes. So you can see that right after your first power chord, we've got a single note, just 3 on the low E string, before we go all the way over to your D power chord. So we got, okay. Now firstly, what I want you to notice is that I'm throwing in one of those percussive stops with my right hand. Right? So this just adds a nice little, like just cuts that first chord, makes it sound nice and tight. So, okay. From here, we're just going to move our first finger over one note, or one string, I should say, to the A power chord. All right, so we got. And then back to that single note, the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then you're back to the start. And that's really all it is. And, you know, but once you add in the rhythm and, you know, plow those strings nice and hard with your pick, you can make it sound like this. All right, so that's a nice, tough, kind of classic sound to it. So let's just take it a little bit slower, just me and you. And we'll take it at like, okay, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so just make sure when you're reading that tab that you understand that when those notes are stacked on top of each other, that's going to mean that you're going to play those notes at the exact same time. So now let's talk about part B of this track. So now when we're coming out of that first riff, so that's our last note, right? The 3rd fret of the low E string. Right from there, we're going to switch into part B, which starts on your D power chord. And now you can see that we play that a whole bunch of times, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And these are just all downstrokes. And then all we do is move over to the A power chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to go to a power chord, and now you can see that we've got 2 and 4. Now if you remember from a previous video, what that's going to look like is your classic power chord shape right here. Okay, so you got 2 on the A string, 4 on the D string, using your 1st and 3rd finger. Okay, so from there, we've got another bunch of notes that we strum here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's a nice little stop, little drum fill, and then we get back into it. So I'll just show you that at full speed. Here's part B. be talking about this a little bit more when we get into full-fledged chords and chord strumming and stuff like that. But now, just a real quick tip for you is what you want to do is when you're playing this, 5, 6, 7, 8, it really helps if you leave that chord on the last strum. So then you can get to the next chord in time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what you're noticing there is I'm actually lifting off, but I'm still strumming the two notes, or the two strings, right? So, right? So that just helps you get on to the next chord while maintaining the tempo and the rhythm behind it. Let's just take part B together and nice and slow, and here we go. So we'll go like ba 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 ba. Okay, ready, go. Here we go. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Now, a quick tip for you is when you're moving that first finger over, I would just continue that whole process. You just go G string, D string to the A string, right? And then just pop on your third finger. So, right, you can see my first finger is just popping over string by string. Okay, and another tip for you to make this track sound even more pro and just throw in a nice little flashy technique is you'll notice that I'm doing a little bend on the third fret, right? That single note. So this guy right here with my second finger. Now, I wouldn't get too obsessed with this. A lot of times when I show students this bend on a riff like this, they just analyze it too much and they focus too much on the bend. It's really just something that slips you into the next chord, right? It's a very transitional note. So, all right, so I'm just doing a little bend there with my second finger. And we'll talk more about bends later on, but you know, you just pull it down to the ground a little bit. Right? And just keep in mind it's very transitional. But yeah, very, very common technique to do that, especially with these open power chords. Right, it's super, super common to use that note in there, so you can have some fun with that too. So let's try the track, me and you. I've got it slowed down about 15%, yeah, let's just take it, let's rock it. 1, 2, ready, go. Get ready for the next part. D power chord. 5, 6, 7, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Ready, here we go. So, super fun, classic sounding track and some really important guitar techniques going on there. All about the open string power chords, and then we throw in that nice little power chord on the second fret of the A string. And just a quick tip on that is you'll notice that in the song it's a kind of a build because we hold that chord for so long, And so what you can actually do is when you hit this power chord on the 2nd fret, you can start out by strumming it lighter, and then as you progress through all the strums, you strum it heavier and heavier. So it sounds something like this. It's like... All right, so you can see that we like build that. So you can add that in too. So have some fun with this track. Got a bunch more coming at you. Keep on ripping it up. We'll catch you in the next one.